Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is your host, Ray Shasho. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Rockstar Chronicles, Series 1. That's my book, featuring over 45 intimate conversations with the greatest music legends the world will ever know. It's available now at bookbaby.com and amazon.com. Mr. Neal Morse formed and played in many bands in his youth and is playing in many bands in his adulthood, learning and mastering several instruments along the way. In 1995, he wrote and recorded with his band Spock's Beard, The Light, an album based firmly in the then unfashionable prog rock genre. This album quickly became a modern prog classic and began to bring Neal and the band global recognition. In 2000, he also joined forces to form Transatlantic, a prog rock supergroup that won further acclaim and yet more fans across the world. A second supergroup with Mike Portnoy followed, Flying Colors, with whom he earned his first #1 international chart position. Forging out on his own in 2003, Neal has made a series of groundbreaking albums. In 2018, he formed the Neal Morse Band. Neal Morse's latest releases are Innocence and Danger by the Neal Morse Band, The Absolute Universe by Transatlantic, and most recent release, Troika by Gabriel, Morse, and Jennings. Please welcome multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, composer, and prog rock and Christian rock legend, Neal Morse, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Neal.
Hello, Ray. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, guys like you are hard to keep up with because, you know, you got so many, things on the fire, so many bands, so many collaborations. You know, it's tough for us music journalists to follow you guys.
Well, you know, if you're doing music full time,
Right.
which praise the Lord, I'm able to do.
Yeah.
You know, I can, a lot of people's favorite songs were probably written in an hour or less.
True.
Actually, if you get some inspiration and you feel in the chorus, and then you get a verse, all you need is the middle eight, and you're done. If you're writing simple songs, now the prog stuff often will take a lot longer, but it is, if you really look at it, it is a bunch of different sections kind of joined together with then jamming stuff and instrumental stuff in between. So I don't know. I mean, if the inspiration's striking, you can really produce a lot of music in a very short time.
Yeah. And brother, you have. You've given us a lot of wonderful, wonderful music. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, well, thanks for listening, man.
I had Dave Bainbridge on the show not long ago.
Oh, yeah.
He was supposed to have a prog wedding, and you were supposed to officiate it, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
What a story, huh? What happened to him? Separated from his wife all that time, and
I know. Yeah, wow, it was rough, man.
Now you guys are going to get together again. Is it on the cruise that you guys are going to redo the ceremony? Or
the whole thing was supposed to originally be on the cruise,
right?
On the 2020 cruise that got canceled, that had been scheduled to have Flying Colors,
right?
And we're still trying to work that out. Still trying to get Flying Colors on the cruise eventually, but. Anyway, yeah, we hope to. I mean, that ball is in his court.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He lives in Baltimore. I'm from Baltimore originally, and his wife's name is Sharon, and my wife's name is Sharon. So
yeah. I saw them recently when we played there. It was great to see them.
Yeah, good guy. I want to talk about first Troika. Now, I want to tell you, man, and I sincerely mean this, Troika should win a Grammy Award. That's how good it is.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean,
nominate us.
I will. I'll get all my friends to do that too, because it's a great album.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Am I pronouncing his name right? Is it DiVirgilio?
DiVirgilio.
DiVirgilio. Is he Italian?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Full blood.
then
Full blooded.
full-blooded, yeah. And then Jennings, of course. Um, God, this album is incredible, man. What I wanted to ask you too, how technically difficult is it to put an album together like this when everybody's remote?
Actually, it was super easy.
Really?
Yeah, this album was one of those like just falling off a log kind of. It was very easy. The challenging thing was just finding the right guys.
Mhm.
I had written some stuff that sounded kind of like those 3-part harmony acoustic 70s kind of albums that I love. I'm sure you do too.
Yep.
And yeah, so Nick was an obvious choice, because you need somebody that can really, hit the high notes easily, and
Mhm.
Nick can do that. And so then the challenge for me was who could sing the middle, and not only that, but it was important to me that it be not just me getting guys to sing on songs I'd written, but I also I wanted to have it be a meeting of artists.
Right.
'Cause I don't know. The more I listen to records, my favorite records are like meeting of artists records, like the Beatles
Mhm.
records are.
Right.
It's like one song from this guy. It's because it gives you such a different perspective. It just
Mhm.
keeps it more interesting. And so then when I actually I didn't think of Ross. Ross did an interview with Mike about Transatlantic, the Absolute Universe. And I watched a little bit of it, and then I thought that's what made me think, oh, what about Ross? Because I've been with him on the cruises, and we toured together once and
Right.
hung out a little bit. And he's such a cool guy, and he has a great voice. But I'd only ever heard him do the Haken stuff, which is not at all like what Troika is. And it was really cool. I sent him an email, and he sent back one of those emails like immediately that's like all caps,
Mhm.
exclamation point, exclamation. Oh, I would love to. I love that kind of music. Actually, I've been writing stuff like that. So it was a really real simpatico thing. He already had Nick, and he already had a bunch of material that lent itself, and as did I. So we just sent each other's demos, and then we just started recording onto each other's demos. And sometimes the demos were so good
Mhm.
that all I could hear it needed was a little organ part. So
Mhm.
there are certain songs that I didn't do very much on. There's other songs that I did almost everything on. Uh, but it was all pretty just easy. And um, I didn't hear our vocal blend forever. That was kind of the funny part, because it's all about the vocal blend, right?
It is.
And Nick didn't do his vocals till the very end.
That's amazing. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it was like 4 months after I signed the record deal, I finally heard our voices together. And then of course I knew that we really had something special.
It's so amazing. A lot of people reference the album and the vocals to, of course, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and I can see where they say that because
Sure.
you guys blend so well together. And it just coming from your past and all the other music that you've created, and now you've got this on top of all that, and like I said, man, it's a fantastic album, and it's Grammy worthy. It really is. I
Thank you
love it.
so much. Thank you.
First track on the album, Everything I Am. That's if top 40 music was only like it used to be, that would have been on the radio. you
Oh
know
yeah, I agree. And Julia too, I think.
yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Um, but and some of the songs would have been on, like what you might call FM hits, I think.
Right. Right.
You know, but anyway, those are different days, man.
I know. I was a top 40 DJ back in the late 70s too. So
Oh wow, wow,
yeah,
that's
that
amazing.
was fun times. The YouTube comments just on that single alone is incredible. I mean, I'm not the only one who thinks this album is great. You got, a lot of positive reaction from all over, which is, you should be very proud of this album.
I'm very happy about it. We all are, and we've been talking about when we can get together and do some more things, or maybe do some shows, or
Hmm.
maybe even just like take some pictures actually together would be good.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
We haven't been together. We haven't sung together in the same room yet.
It's so weird,
Isn't that weird?
isn't
Yeah.
it? Is there any plan for you guys to take this album on the road with the three of you?
There isn't a plan, but we're talking about it. I'm kind of praying about it and thinking about it, and
That'd be
I
great.
would imagine that we will do some shows at some point. I just don't know.
Yeah.
It seems to me like it might be a good thing to. We were sort of waiting to see how the album was going to be received, and if there was a lot of excitement about it.
Hmm.
It seems like there is,
There is.
and it seems like the kind of thing that would be good to do at like some festivals, or kind of bigger like one-off events.
Hmm.
So we'll see if we get any offers for stuff like that, and you know,
That's going to
we're,
be
we're
interesting when you first perform the album live. All three of you harmonizing like you did technically. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's going to be interesting.
yeah. It'll be. I bet it'll be very easy. I think it'll be really easy as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, you're a
I think.
pro. That's why you're saying it's easy. You've been
Well,
around a
I think
long
it's. I
time,
think it's just there.
Yeah.
Somehow that we all. It's just. I don't think it'll be hard for us to sing together.
Right.
I think it'll just flow.
See, you're so spiritually positive, because of your faith. Good things come to you, and people got to get that in their mind. Think positive. Be one with God, and He'll help you out. You know.
Yeah, well, that's part of the really, really good news.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that God wants to bless you.
Exactly. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I've interviewed a lot of great Christian rock bands. Petra?
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys are cool.
I know
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
good
Not
guys.
all, I don't know all of them, but I know some of
Right.
them. Yeah.
Good music. Really good music. You mentioned Julia. You're right. Another top 40. That's another fan favorite. It's another great song. I'm just going to mention some of the tracks. You Set My Soul on Fire, a very calming track. That's a great song for where I live in Florida. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
um, One Time Less, again, great harmonizing little slide guitar on that album.
Yeah. Slide,
Wonderful track.
little slide on that song, a little
Hmm.
more of a groove. Probably if we played it live, we'd probably expand that jam thing in the middle.
Hmm.
And Nick is the coolest, man. What a cool drummer.
Yeah.
He's so groove and subtle. Really just he did some really amazing drumming on this album.
Now I'm going to surprise you with my favorite tune on the album. My favorite tune is a Change Is Going to Come.
Really?
Yes. That's a
Oh,
beautiful
cool.
song, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love it, and basically we can only hope that a change is going to come.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was inspired. That was one of the first songs I wrote in the direction of this album, that wound up being on the album. And I think this is back in like end of July, August of 2020.
Hmm.
And all the race riots and stuff, or
Right.
maybe that's not what you should call it. I don't know what to call it, but all the upheaval in America,
Right.
and the pandemic and all that stuff was going on. And so my wife and I and her dad went on a bucket list trip. He always wanted to go across the country in an RV.
Oh, cool.
We did that, and so there I was up in the redwoods in
Hmm.
California,
Hmm.
and sitting by the fire, and I started playing around with Change Is Going to Come. But what I was thinking about is that there's a Martin Luther King quote that says, I think it's something like, the arc of history
Hmm.
is always leaning towards morality.
Right.
So it may look like it's going to, it's kind of like the stock market,
Hmm.
it'll go down, but the arc is always rising if you look out over time.
Yeah.
And I hope that that's true.
Me too. Me
Uh,
too.
and so that's what that song was about. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I loved it, man. The lyrics are wonderful. And of course, with the tragedy in Ukraine now, just adds, we hope we're going to have change throughout the
Yeah.
world. It's just keeps getting worse, doesn't it?
Mm.
So, yeah, like you said, we can only hope. Um, King for a Day, again, you brought out the electric guitars for that tune.
Yeah. 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 It became much heavier. That was one of Ross's. That's one of
Uh-huh.
Ross's songs, one of his demos.
Yeah.
And the original demo, I think it just had, uh, little demo drums, fake drums on it.
Hmm.
And it wasn't nearly that heavy until, Nick put drums on it. And then after Jerry mixed it,
Hmm.
that's when I went, whoa, this song really is pretty rocking.
It's great. Oh,
Sometimes you don't realize how a song's going to turn out till it turns out, but yeah, I'm very happy with King for a Day. I look forward very much to playing that one live. That'll be fun.
well, talk about a rocker. What about Secondhand Sons?
Yeah, well, I wrote Secondhand Sons because I was sharing the demos with a friend,
Hmm.
and he said, "Hey, you need a rocker. Like you need your Ohio."
Right, right.
know?
That's
And
funny.
so I wrote Secondhand Sons, but I don't think we actually really needed it because some of the other songs, like King for a Day, came out so rocking. That we really didn't need it. At the time, I was feeling like it was all really mellow, but
Hmm.
as it developed, it really isn't that way.
Well,
Got a lot
Secondhand
of
Sons, it's got to sound great live. That's going to be a great live song.
Yeah, that'll be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can do it all, man. Any genre, any type music, that's what that's what's so amazing about you,
Well,
you know?
thank you. I actually think in the long run, it's made my career maybe. I mean, thank God for Prog, where you
Right.
could do all kinds of different styles in
Yeah.
one piece. Because I can never seem to. I think I have a kind of musical short attention span. If I'm doing one kind of record for too long,
Right.
or even one kind of song, I was just raised with so much so much variety.
Exactly.
The shows that we watched when I
Hmm.
was young, and my dad was a choir director, and he always had tons of variety in his
Hmm.
shows. He never did any two songs that sounded at all like in the same genre,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard for me to just like stick with one thing.
Right.
So it's hard. It's made it a little bit difficult on the listeners, I think, sometimes, because it's also different. But
Well, I'm glad you are like the way you are. I love Prog. I grew up with Pink Floyd and Tull and Gentle Giant and Camel, all those
yeah,
guys. Love them. But, you can get stuck in that mode. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
yeah, I think ELP got stuck in that mode for a while. If it wasn't for the slower tunes from Greg Lake, and then his past with King Crimson, but we just, I love Keith Emerson, but banging on that, keyboard all the time is a little too much sometimes. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
need the
yeah,
variety.
yeah. I mean, that was part of the motivation for Troika too. Was like, I don't know, I'm just getting a little bit tired of making these really grand, epic albums. I mean,
Right.
I guess it's like anything else. It's like
Yeah.
if you're at the beach for too long, you might want to go to the mountains. Nothing wrong with the
Sure.
beach. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You've done it all as far as Prague. I mean, with all the bands you've been on, I mean, there's not a lot more you can do with this on the Prague side. That's why I'm glad you're doing what you're doing,
oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Just finishing, you got My Guardian, great tune. It's kind of like Christian rock in a way, isn't it? My Guardian. I love it.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's one of Nick's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love that
good.
tune. What You Left Behind, very pretty song. And then, of course, you got the alternative version to Julia, which is neat. What made you do
Yeah,
that one?
that's one of Ross's original versions. He actually had quite a few original
Right.
versions of that song. And he told me, hey, I don't mind if you if you have your way essentially with my song, as long as I can put the original version as a bonus track.
Oh, okay. I see. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I really like it. I mean, and I really like the mix. The
Uh-huh.
dude who mixed it, it sounds really good.
Who engineered this album?
Well, I mean,
Was that you?
we engineered it ourselves. Like,
Okay.
so
Right.
wherever Nick did the drums up at Sweetwater, he engineered the drums, and so we engineered all our own recording, and then Jerry Guidros did the mix.
So I still can't fathom how you did this and said it was so easy, you know?
I probably spent 3 weeks total on this.
That's incredible. I just can't believe it,
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you have the tools, it's, you have the right tools.
Well, I mean, people used to, man, God, people used to record whole Beatles. The Beatles didn't start spending a lot of time on their albums until really Sgt. Pepper's. I mean, and even then, Abbey Road, they recorded Abbey Road over like 2 months, I think, over a summer. And so, yeah, I mean, and that's, that's the Beatles. So
yeah, but they were in a studio all together, right? Most of the time.
Most of the time.
But you're not.
Yeah.
You got guys over here and over there.
Oh man, what a dream. It would be so great one day to do a whole I don't know when the last time, or if I've ever, I don't think I've ever done an entire record from start to finish with a whole team that everybody was there the whole time.
You need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing. Well, part of the reason why nobody does that anymore is they don't have the budget. You don't have the budget.
Right.
It's like you're gonna put people, because everybody, the thing about the Beatles, they all lived around London. They just drive in.
Yep.
And man, I know, I read about that stuff and go, wow, that would be great if we could all just drive in and work like a Monday through Friday. They took the weekend off.
Yeah.
That would be great, but I can't do that here.
Can't do it in your home? Do you have a studio there?
Yeah, I mean, we could do it. We could do it here, but I mean, I don't. None of the people that I work with live here, so then if they're in hotels, even if you want to spend the money, people don't want to be in a hotel for a month.
Yeah,
usually,
that's true.
It's like, it's weird.
Yeah,
and so we get together, with the Transatlantic stuff, for example,
right,
and a lot of the other stuff that I do. We get together and we write it and we arrange it, and we'll try to get a keeper drum track, like the foundation, and then we'll all go home and build onto it.
Right.
Which is a good kind of compromise between the two.
Yeah, it's a different time now. It really is.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, Innocence and Danger could be another Grammy winner. That it's, I fell in love. Okay. First of all, every once in a while, I'll listen to Morrow.com. They love you on Morrow.com.
Oh, yeah. I love Morrow. Yeah. Morrow.
They play your music a lot. And thank God, because that's where I learned a lot about, Innocence and Danger.
Oh, cool.
When I heard The Way It Had to Be, I said, man, that's my top 10 songs of all time. That song.
Oh, wow.
What a great song. Talk about writing that tune, man. What a great tune.
Well, I think we started writing that. I believe we had a writing session. I mean, it might have been as long ago as 2017 or something.
Right.
And Mike couldn't be there, as I recall. And I mean, I could be Mike. Some of the people have a better recollection than I do. But I think we started that with just the four of us. And it started with a thing from Eric had the original sort of vibe and a little instrumental around those chords. And I think I started singing it over it. And then we kind of wrote the chorus together in the room. And I was thinking a little bit of, I think, From the Beginning.
Right.
I like the idea of hitting that weird chord and then saying, It's the way it had to be.
Exactly.
You know, I like songs where they hit something unusual and pause, and then you say something poignant, you know,
Right.
hopefully. Anyway, yeah, so we wrote that in the room together, but it was left on the cutting room floor.
Whoa.
It was originally, I believe, for the Similitude album, I think,
Huh.
and or maybe it was Great Adventure. It was something that we wound up not using on one of those albums. And then when we were doing Innocence and Danger, we had this issue, which was we had when we were writing and recording it, we were just plowing. You know, we were just like just going, just and not keeping track of time. And we came out after about 8 days and went, you know, we've got like 84 minutes of material. And it was kind of like, well, what are we going to cut? And we looked at
Mhm.
everything, and everybody would say, you know, I'd say, well, I could lose this one. And somebody would say, no, 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 no. Well, I could lose this one. Somebody else would say, no, no, no. But we had too much material for one disc, and really
Right.
not enough for two discs.
Right.
So then we started thinking, well, what can we pad this album with? What can we add? And I think it was Bill and Mike came up with this one. I wasn't around. I think I had left the room. I think I had to go run some errands or something. I wasn't here. And they
Hmm.
came back and they said, "Hey, we got this idea. Remember that section of Similitude that we didn't use? Well, I and Bill wrote that bridge, and they cut it. They took the original demo, I think, and cut it up. And Bill went to a click track and just scratched out that bridge. And then Mike played drums to it.
Really?
And then we sent it out to everybody, and everybody overdubbed onto it. And but it was really only because we needed more songs to make it a double disc.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well, I'm
Happy
so glad you
accident.
love it. Yeah, happy
Oh my
accident.
gosh. It's,
Yeah.
like you said, it's like reminds me of ELP Greg Lake in the beginning and that type of, format. It's surreal. The lyrics are beautiful. I mean, it's heartfelt. I mean, I love it. It's such a beautiful song.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the lyrics on that album are about similar things,
Hmm.
like which is where I'm at in my life. It's like, wow, you've been through a lot of stuff,
Right.
and you come out into this, you were challenged in a lot of ways, but you've come out into this beautiful place.
Hmm.
So it's like, there you are, you know,
Exactly.
free and feeling so sublime. You light up the stars like sparks in summertime. So much has changed, and it was all part of God's plan
Right.
that you go through all these things and come out into this nice place. And so I think a lot of people feel that way too.
That's what I got out
You
of
know,
it. I thought about this is God's plan, basically.
yeah.
That's
And he,
what
and
first thing
he'll,
I thought
he'll
of.
lead you out into a
Yeah,
beautiful place. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
it's great.
You look great too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
How old are you?
61.
Okay, so we're about the same age. I'm 63.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, we would have been in high
You look
school
great
together.
too, man. You look great too, man.
Thanks, man. Hey, we still got our hair, right?
Right? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. The album is a little eclectic because "Do It All Again," the opening track. Wow. I mean, first it sounds like Genesis in the beginning, very prog. Then I hear a little Kansas. Then I hear Styx. I mean, the commercial appeal of that first song is tremendous. You
Oh,
know,
thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
tune, man. I
Oh,
love it.
thanks, man. We wrote that all together in the room.
Really,
Yeah.
that should be a hit. That definitely should be a hit. Another hit there.
That would have been it probably would have been an FM hit back in the
Yep,
day.
definitely an
Yeah.
FM hit.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, we had the whole piece, but we didn't have a real chorus.
Right.
A lot of times what I wind up bringing to the albums, a lot of times are choruses.
Hmm.
Because I still feel like in Prague, um, you still need to have a good chorus. Hopefully, a chorus that people can sing along with.
Right. Exactly.
Um, that's always something that's a good thing to have, you know.
Right.
People forget that with all of its eclecticness,
Mm-hmm.
all my favorite prog songs have choruses, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Roundabout, Heart of the Sunrise, you know, Jim, you can just go on, but you know,
Yeah.
all the most of the ELP stuff has a chorus that you
Right.
can really dig into, and you know, it's so I always try to have that in the as much as we can in the songs.
Another fan favorite on Morrow.com. I sound like I'm doing a commercial for Morrow.com, but Bird on a Wire. That's on. They play that a lot too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was written in the room. That was like Randy had that riff. The that thing was from a Randy demo, and I started singing over it.
Yep.
And then Bill had that chorus. I have a fire, la da 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 da. He
Yep.
didn't have a completed lyric. It was just like I have a fire, blah 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 thing. And yeah, and then Eric wrote the shreddy intros, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we put it together really quick.
You are well represented on Morrow.com. Let me
Oh,
tell you.
that's awesome, man. But I'll have to pay them a good thank you.
Yeah, maybe do a little promo or something for the station.
Yeah.
Track number 6. It sounds like you put in a little Jethro Tull there with Emergence.
Oh, the acoustic guitar thing?
Yeah, it sounds a little tall, doesn't it?
Oh, does
little
it?
Ian Anderson.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. I was just I stayed up late one night. My wife
Mm-hmm.
was asleep, and I just felt like it. Sometimes I just like to get up and just jam, you know. And so I just jammed and played a bunch of stuff into my phone.
Really?
And, yeah. And then I cut it up,
Uh-huh.
like, you know, a couple weeks later when we needed more material for the
Right.
first disc. I thought, oh, I could do a guitar intro. What was all that stuff? So I kind of picked all the stuff I really liked out of the jam and made that piece.
That's a cool tune. You know, I interviewed Ian a couple of weeks ago, so I'm
Oh, did you?
still thinking about Ian Anderson.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome. He's incredible. I love him.
he is. He is. Very spiritual too, by the way. Loves to talk about religion. He really
Oh,
does.
good. I would love to talk with him about that.
You would be a great one to talk to him about religion.
Yeah, I just love to hear, you know,
Yeah.
because all of the stuff that he wrote, I mean, the My God side
That's right.
of Aqualung was very important to my life and development. And yeah, I'm interested to know where he's at now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, invite him on one of your albums. He's good at that. You know,
Yeah.
he played on the last Robbie Steinhardt album, Mandoki Soulmates. He played with them. He does a lot of collaborations. So I'm sure he'd be more than happy to play with you. You could add a little flute, you know, to your music.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whose idea was it to put Bridge Over Troubled Water on the album?
That was another thing because we needed more material.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was Mike and Bill again when I was gone that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the sessions had gone over because we thought we were just doing a single disc.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric and Randy had already flown home. That's why it was Mike and Bill.
Gotcha.
Bill had stayed over, I think, one day. This was like a Monday, I think, and I came in and they were like, "So we want to make it a double, and so maybe we should do a cover. What if we pull out one of Bill's covers?"
Mm-hmm.
Bill's kind of like the king of prog covers. He's usually got a couple in his pocket.
Right.
And we listened to several of his actually. And one was he has a prog version of Green Grass and High Times.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And we almost did that one. And then we were kicking it around, and Bill said something about, well, I've got this idea for like the end of Bridge Over Troubled Water. All he had was just the sail on, silver girl.
Yeah.
Like if you did that really big.
Yep.
which is of course really actually the best part of our version, I think.
Very powerful. Yep. I
Yeah.
agree.
But then he and I started kicking around. So we sketched out a thing, I think, before Mike showed up, because Mike doesn't show up usually till like 2:00 or something like that, because he's a late sleeper.
Right.
And so, yeah, I don't know when they would have had that idea for the other thing. It wouldn't be in the morning. If I said morning, like anybody who knows Mike is, well, it wasn't Mike. If it was in the morning, it wasn't him. Yeah, so we started just toying around with, I'm very familiar with the piano part of that song. My son learned it note for note. So
really cool.
yeah, I know all of that. So it was like, well, what we could do. So it starts off, da, 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 and it's like, oh, you could do that kind of Yes is America thing, or
that's what I thought about that.
Organ in, the organ in the distance thing, the call and response thing, which is of course influenced by all kinds of classical music. That's a very classical thing to do.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, we just kicked it around and left some room and sketched it out, and then sent it out to everybody, and
and it works.
Yeah, it worked out great. Yeah. And we also had the idea like, oh, I could sing one verse, Bill could sing one, and Eric could sing one. And yeah, it's a real showstopper live, I'll tell you.
Oh man. When are you gonna come to Florida?
Well, we played Jacksonville once, like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago or something.
Well, I'm south. I'm in Bradenton. I'm south of Tampa.
Oh,
so if you play Tampa or Clearwater,
really well.
Yeah,
we bought a place on Anna Maria Island, dude.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're kidding me. That's 20 minutes from me.
Some friends of ours they rent it out for us.
It's a cool place.
It's a rental,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love coming down there every chance we get.
Well, call me when next time you're down here. Well, go have some coffee or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, some friends of mine that had a coffee shop here in town.
Yep.
When the pandemic came, then they shut downtown down. They couldn't survive with having no customers, and so they sold their place and they got a job offer in Bradenton.
Really?
And so we were visiting them, and they took us out on the island. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And anyway, without going into all the details, it all just kind of fell into place for us to without really a lot of expense for us to we rolled something over into a place there, and so we're really happy about that.
Very cool.
Yeah,
everybody's moving around here, man. A lot of rock stars. Mick Jagger bought a house in Lakewood Ranch, which is real close to me. I moved from Lakewood Ranch over to where I'm at now, but he bought a house for his girlfriend, who's a ballerina. Oh, and I'm sure he hangs out there a lot. But
that's cool. Yeah, I think I heard Garth Brooks bought a big place on the island somewhere.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
I just talked to Rick Barry from NBA Hall of Famer, Rick Barry. He lives in Lakewood Ranch. I just talked to him. I didn't know he lived in Lakewood Ranch, but everybody's moving down here. It's pretty cool.
It was really interesting. So I called John Anderson up like a couple weeks ago. Just to catch up with him, and
right.
And he said, "Oh, hey, I'm doing a gig.
Yep.
And in Florida." I said, "Oh, what part?" He's like, "Oh, I don't really remember." And I said something like, "Oh, well, my wife and I, we bought this place down on Anna Maria Island." He says, "Oh, that's where we're gonna stay." I said, "What?" Yeah, he's doing a gig at the Sarasota Opera House.
The Opera House, right?
And so he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. You drive over a couple bridges and then you stay at this really nice place." I'm like, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a cool venue too. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah. He's doing a thing with a bunch of young people, and I wish I could be there, but I'll be playing with Transatlantic in New York that night.
You got 2 tours. I'm going to mention that too. Anyway, I just want to mention Beyond the Years. You go back into your Prog world with that song, with the orchestra intro, and great song, man. Incredible. Very epic.
Thank you.
Epic tune.
Thank you. That was Bill Hubauer's baby.
Beautiful tune, man.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then you've got the absolute universe. I mean, is there anything you can't do?
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Which is a concept album, right? About the world's struggles in 2020, basically.
Kinda. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it wound up being a real hodgepodge of things.
Right.
It's one of those, like, whatever it means to you, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Yeah.
great album. I won't go track for track, but I love the overture, which goes into Reaching for the Sky, which is probably one of my favorite.
Oh, good.
Higher Than the Morning, great guitar work. A lot of great guitar work on this album, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what? Tell me about Radiant Records.
Oh, Radiant Records is a small label
Right.
that I started years ago.
Okay.
And when I found out that, if I pressed up the records, people would buy them from me wholesale.
Okay.
The wholesalers would buy from me. I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. So that's how it started. And then we started our online store. And for a while, we had distribution through Sony, through Metal Blade.
Right.
And then, oh man, maybe around 2017 or 18, they said that it didn't make any sense to do that anymore. And so that's why all the records since then are being put out by Inside Out.
I got you.
Because I don't really have proper distribution for Radiant anymore.
Right.
So now Radiant's really mainly an online store.
Okay.
And
all
kind
right.
of an umbrella in which I do a lot of different activities, the Inner Circle.
Yep.
And I don't know, just a lot of the things that we sell directly are all through Radiant and nealmorse.com.
Right.
Really, it's become kind of the same thing, actually.
Right.
So,
do you enjoy producing? I mean, would you like to produce new bands, that kind of thing, or?
I enjoy producing, but not as much. I don't feel like that's what I'd have to really feel like God was going to use me that way, compelling me that way. I'm
right.
The thing that gets me up in the morning is always composing. It's always writing. Writing is still my first love.
Right.
And so helping other people to develop, and to make their writing and what they're doing the best it can be is something I do enjoy. But I haven't done that much of it, actually. I'm generally more involved in producing the stuff that I'm working on.
Right.
With others. But I'm open.
Yeah. How about writing a book?
Well, I wrote a book.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It's called Testimony.
Okay.
And you can get it on Amazon.com and
I'll promote it.
NealMorse.com, RadiantRecords.com. Yeah. It's
awesome.
Yeah. I wrote that in 2015 or something?
Right.
Now, maybe earlier.
What is the concept behind that book?
It's really my Christian testimony put in a book.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of like my life story, really.
Great.
Up until that point,
I'll pick it up, definitely.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, I can see you and John Anderson being friends because both of you are great songwriters, and he's a very spiritual guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I just keep staying connected with him.
Yeah.
And I just feel it, so I'm always trying to get together with him if I'm out in his neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And try to get together and have tea with him. And, it's just, he's a cool hang.
Do you know his brother was a priest?
Oh, I think I do know that.
Yeah. I told Rick Wakeman, I think John would have made a great priest. He's got the mannerisms.
Well, a priest is technically somebody who helps someone to connect to God. So,
yeah, exactly.
In that sense, we can all be priests.
Yeah, especially through your music. Definitely. More people believe in music than anything. It's almost like a religion, isn't it? Music.
Well, it is for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been for me. It
Yeah.
really has.
Yeah. It really helped me. One of the things that really shifted in my life when I came to the Lord, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, was that I realized that I had made music a god,
Mm-hmm.
and music was in a sense my god, in the sense that I would do anything for it.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting it to provide for me
Mm-hmm.
and get me love and acceptance, and there was a lot I was carrying around about music.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I didn't get those things, I felt like music had really disappointed me. So I came to a place like in the early 90s where I didn't even want to write music because it was so painful.
Huh.
When you get your disappointment of your whole life. I mean, it's like I became just like, man, my life's over. Like an athlete that never got to really play,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like it was just like, wow, what am I going to do with my life? I put all my eggs in this basket,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't turn out, and so I became really angry with music and with people and with the world,
Hmm.
and when I got in relationship with God, and I viewed that, and I put kind of what I would say is I put music in its proper place,
Right.
which is this gift from
Mm-hmm.
God,
Yep.
and that He can use it however He wants to use it. And it's not there for me to get for myself, to get fame or sales or girls or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you're trying to get. A lot of times God gives us these talents, and then we try to figure out how we can make it, what we
Right.
can get from it.
Right.
And when I started to get that off my shoulders, and I started to get some freedom and get God in His proper place and get music in its proper place as a gift, and this great joy of creating just exploded within me, that was always there,
Yeah.
just kind of covered up with all that resentment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, what a blessing.
It all came together after that.
Yeah, it did. What a miracle,
Yeah.
to actually kind of get to a place where you could support your family doing your
Mm-hmm.
own music at 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was such a young man's game. Here
Mm-hmm.
I was 34 with nothing going on, 35. I mean, Spock's didn't really start to break till I was 37,
Mm-hmm.
38. Then Mike calls me, wants to do Transatlantic in
Mm-hmm.
99. And then that record comes out in 2000. It's just like, to me, it's just like this resurrection. And at the same time, I was coming to God.
Yeah.
So it was just this wonderful thing that happened that only He could orchestrate.
Well, you're attracting so many people your way and to God's way because of your music. You really are. You caught my attention, definitely.
Well, thank you.
You
Thank
really
you.
did, man. It's like,
Uh,
you hit a nerve, and that's, it's like, it's wonderful. It really is, man. I love your
well,
music. Your music's
thank,
wonderful.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I always thought Prague was very spiritual.
Yeah, it is spiritual. Yeah.
You know, um, how can the wind with its arms all around me? It's
Yep.
like, wow, it's poetic and spiritual and all of these things. And so it became such a wonderful vehicle,
Mm-hmm.
to really write about the Spirit of God,
Yep.
receiving the Spirit of God, to write about the things of Jesus. And, wow, it became this fertile ground, and it really lent itself. And I never would have dreamed that that's what I was eventually going to do.
Yeah.
Was like, I don't know how many, like 10 Christian themed progressive rock concept albums or whatever. It's crazy. I never would have dreamed it. I never wanted to make one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, people would say, when are you going to do a concept album? I'm like, oh, man, that's so trite.
You know, who had really had the right idea too was Kansas. All their lyrics are spiritual, you know?
Yeah, well, it lends itself real well, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the kind of music that you generally want to sing, "Oh baby, baby, I love you" to.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's why Prog is so wonderful. It's serious music. It's life. It's about life. It's real. That's what Prog's all about. And I don't, I don't like the baby thing, and that's what's wrong with music today and the radio, which is it's sad. They don't want nobody want to put any effort into digging deep and bringing good music on the airwaves, which they should, because there's so much great music out there that nobody knows about.
Yeah. Well, thank God for having your own MP3s on your phone. And
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly right.
We're free to. There's a lot of music out there. It's
Yep.
just, it's hard for young artists to break. I know
it is. But you know what? There's a lot of good prog music out there. A lot of new prog music out there.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. There really is. Let's talk about Morse Fest real quick. What's happening at Morse Fest?
What's happening at Morse Fest? Well, Morse Fest has taken on a life of its own, and it's become part music festival, part like homecoming fellowship. I don't know, and part spiritual retreat.
Really?
Yeah. It's become this very special, unique event. Of course, as far as I'm concerned, this is something that God has done.
Okay.
And it's marvelous in our eyes.
So what happens at Morse Fest? It's April 29th through 30th outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. It's at this big church.
Okay.
With lots of different, venues and a dining room, and there's a big, we had to have the concerts in the big room, of course. And, the shows themselves are like, really high level production. And we bring in string quartets and horn players and, timpani and background singers. Sometimes we'll have a choir. I mean, because of it being local, we can bring in all kinds of local talent, and
right.
As well as flying like this year's Transatlantic. So Pete and Royna are flying in from Europe, and also it's a weekend, so we really stretch out. Many times we're doing pieces that there's a lot of things that have only ever been performed
right
at Morse Fest. And then also it's a whole weekend, there's VIP sessions, there's Q&A. We can take a longer time. We're all kind of there together. It's sort of like, in a way, it's kind of like the Marillion weekends, I think.
Very cool.
Where there's contests and games and fun things. And also on Saturday morning, I do a totally unique Inner Circle concert for the Inner Circle members. And then on Sunday, there's a church service for people that want to stay over and go to church. So it's like it's a whole thing.
You ever think about being a pastor?
I was pastoring. I did have a church in Nashville called City on a Hill.
Oh, okay.
For about 5 years.
Huh.
That was from about 2015, I think, to 2020.
Right.
And it was good. It was good. And it was a wonderful season. My kids were both really involved, and we rented a place downtown, and it was
very
great.
Cool. Yeah.
And now I'm just, on the music team at my local church.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for this season. I have to say I'm happy I'm not pastoring right now.
Yeah.
Because I have so many other things on my plate.
Yeah.
But whatever God wants, if he wants me to do it again, I'll do it again.
Sure. You'll know.
Right.
He'll nudge you.
Indeed.
I want to let everybody know how busy you are. Okay. You just finished up an American tour with the Neal Morse Band, correct?
Yes,
The tour.
that's correct.
You'll be in Europe May 28th, Madrid, Spain. Then you're going to Italy, Switzerland, the Netherlands, London, England, Paris. Oh my God. Germany, Poland. Be careful in Poland, by the way. I hope you'll, Germany, Denmark, Sweden. You're going all the way through June 18th. Then there's Transatlantic, and you'll start your North American dates on April 15th, correct? In Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're doing about 3 weeks of stuff.
Right.
Transatlantic, like 7 shows, and then Morse Fest, and then Cruise to the Edge.
Cruise to the Edge. That's going to be fun, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be super fun.
That's got to be a lot of fun.
Then going back to Europe in July with Transatlantic. So, yeah, a lot going on.
Yeah, you got Romania, Germany, Netherlands, London again, and back in France, July 28th.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's it. That's all I got on the book.
It's a lot of flying, man. You know, it's interesting, Elvis never toured overseas. Imagine, his life would have been, probably a little different if he had toured overseas.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Colonel Parker wouldn't let him.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Neal, here's a question I ask everybody, and I get some very interesting answers. Okay. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Anyone from the past or present to perform with?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Wow. I don't know. The person that I'm always attracted to doing something with is Peter Gabriel.
Yep.
Yeah. And who I met once at the Prog Awards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's not very likely that we would ever do anything together. But I'm just such a big fan. He's got so much soul.
Yeah.
In his voice.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, he's wonderful.
I think you worked with Steve Hackett, right?
Yeah.
In the past. Yeah.
Yeah. I've done quite a bit with Steve. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had Steve on the show many times. He's a great guy. Love him.
Yes.
And who's a cool guy is Nad Sylvan, his singer.
Yeah.
Also a funny guy.
Cool.
Yeah. Neal, I want to thank you for being on the show today, man. Is there anything else you need to promote? Anything else I'm missing?
Oh, well, there's Waterfall. That's
okay.
Waterfallstreaming.com.
Right.
And you can, it's for a small fee, you can subscribe and have everything that I've ever done practically and musically with all the different bands. You can have it all on your phone, so you can just travel with it and have it everywhere. It's
great.
Waterfall.com. Waterfallstreaming.com is where you sign up, but it's an app.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a streaming app.
So you're gonna enjoy the last 3 albums for a while, or are you gonna start?
Oh, I'm practicing for the tours right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm practicing for the Transatlantic stuff.
The Transatlantic stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that that gets pretty intense?
Got the organ right over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah, very cool. Just
Getting
like
ready.
that, you sound like Prog. It's in your blood now. You can't help it.
Yeah, there it is.
I want to say special thanks to Royal Avenue Media, digital marketing, publicity, social media for arranging this interview with Neal Morse. Is it Roy? How do you pronounce the name? Is it ROIE Avin?
Yeah, Roy.
Is it Roy? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's spelled different. Roy Avin, for bringing us you today, and really appreciate that. I want to thank Neal Good luck with the incredible new music you've got and all the music you've given us. And good luck on the tour. The albums are definitely Grammy worthy. I'm going to vote for both of them. I love them. And thank you for doing what you do, man, and bringing, great music and spirituality to all of us. We really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, Ray.
You can also go to your websites, nealmorse.com, and in all your albums. Troika is available. The Neal Morse Band and Innocence and Danger, Transatlantic, they're all available on Amazon.com, or I guess you can go on your website as well.
Yeah, if you go on my website, I'll make more money.
Okay. Everybody go to www.nealmorse.com to buy all these albums. Neal, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
I really appreciate it. God bless you, brother.
God bless you, man.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.